What you're about to read is an Instagram chat between 17-year-old Jordan Demay and a female teenager named Danny Roberts. Except, Danny Roberts is not who she claims to be.
Can you talk about the day of the tragedy? What happened?
I had received a text message from Jordan that said, "Mother, I love you."
In less than 6 hours, a single Instagram message destroyed an entire family.
The detectives discovered Jordan had been speaking to 3 men from Nigeria who were pretending to be a teenage girl, asking for nude.
Sextortion. It's a growing global problem with victims all over the world. But there's one country where a disproportionate number of these cybercriminals seems to be based. According to researchers, a large number of scammers come from West Africa, specifically Nigeria.
These 3 guys from the other side of the planet came into my home while we were sleeping and murdered my son.
It turns out that Jordan wasn't up against just one scammer, but 6 of them, all located in Nigeria.
Because with the kind of collaboration that we have and the determination and commitment we have, I don't see anything stopping us from getting these guys no matter where they are.
22-year-old Samuel Ogoshi and 20-year-old Samson Ogoshi were extradited to the U.S. Saturday after being indicted for an international sexual extortion ring.
And what started as a teenager's death in Michigan became a global threat.
Instagram also displayed the following warning screen to individuals who were searching for child abuse material. These results may contain images of child sexual abuse. And then you gave users 2 choices: get resources or see results anyway. Mr. Zuckerberg, what the hell were you thinking?
In terms of corruption, Nigeria has a reputation. Under the Trump administration, all of these scams.
You know full well your product is a disaster for teenagers. And yet you keep right on, right?
That's not true. That's not true. We build AI tools
nonsense. Your product is killing people.
This is the Jordan Demay case and the Nigerian Sextortion network. For the unimaginable tragedy that shocked America, there was simply John, a 17-year-old high school student at Marquette High School, Michigan. The kind of teenager everyone knew and everyone loved. He lived in Marquette, a quiet town in Michigan, where everybody knew everybody. Jordan played basketball, not just casually, but with discipline. He dreamed, he practiced, he trained, and he gave everything to the court. Outside sports, he worked part-time at McDonald's, and that period he had been saving up for a 2-week vacation trip to Florida with his dad and his new family. Now, about his parents. Jordan's father, Jonathan Demay, is a retired cop, and his mother, Jane Buta, is now an online activist, speaking out against teen scams. They were both divorced and got remarried, separate families, and they both had children with their new spouses. But contrary to what many would assume, this wasn't a broken home. They lived like one big family. Jordan adored his step-siblings and they adored him right back. He would often crash wherever he felt like after school, either at his dad's place with his stepmom or at his mom's place with his stepdad. He had enough love to go around. Back in school, Jordan wasn't just popular, but he was one of the school top athletes, a rising basketball star, and that same year, he was crowned prom king alongside his girlfriend, Kyla Palomaki, who would later be unknowingly used as a bait in the scheme that took Jordan's life. By all standards, Jordan was the perfect 10. Smart, athletic, admired, loved, and employed. He had everything going well. That night, on March 24th, 2022, that night he had gone to the store with his girlfriend to pick up things he needed for the vacation the next day. He got home around 10 p.m. and started packing up his bag, excited for the 2 weeks family trip. His phone was beside him when a notification popped up. Jordan checked and it was a message. A simple Instagram DM, "Hey." Nothing unusual, nothing alarming. He checked the profile before replying, and it was a girl with a dog. He noticed one of his teammates too from basketball followed the account. So in his mind, it's probably just a mutual. And then by 10:19, Jordan Demay replied the message. And the girl introduced herself as Danny Roberts from Atlanta, USA. But Jordan had no idea it was a fake account. And the person behind it wasn't a girl, and wasn't even from Atlanta, nor America. He had no idea he had just connected with the online teen predators. 3 young men, all the way from West Africa, Lagos, Nigeria. And over the next few hours, that one harmless message would spiral into manipulation, fear, extortion, and then the worst, untimely deaths. A message that would place Jordan Demay's name on international headlines. But before that, let me take you to the culprit in Lagos, Nigeria. Nigeria, a country in West Africa, the giant of the continent, home to over 230 million people, the largest population in Africa. A land full of talent, culture, music, oil, and natural wealth. But beneath all this potential, millions of citizens say they never feel the impact of that wealth. Bad governance, unemployment, and economic hardship push many young people into survival mode. And in the shadows of that struggle, some turn to a darker path. Cybercrime, also known as Yahoo or internet fraudsters. This is where the predators who targeted Jordan came from. Their names were Samuel Ogoshi, 20 years old, and Samson Ogoshi, 22 years old. Their father, a retired army general, and their mother was a petty trader. And lastly, Ezekiel Ijem Roberts, a friend of theirs who resides in Nasarawa State. And like countless boys who migrate to Lagos, where dreams rise fast and fall even faster, they got swallowed by the harsh reality of survival. They found themselves drawn into something many Lagos boys venture into. Yahoo, the digital underworld of online fraud. They discovered Sextortion, a business built on fear, whereby they lure their victims to send them explicit photos of them and then they'll use it to blackmail them. But the best part for them is, this doesn't end. They turn their victim into a money sending machine, making them pay ransom upon ransom until they are drained or give up.
The FBI received over 13,000 reports of sextortion. 20 children have died by suicide directly because of sextortion.
And for their victim, Jordan Demay, it wasn't any different. And for boys like Samuel, Mayowa, and Roberts, it became their only source of income. Night after night, they created fake accounts, stealing pictures of random girls and then sending messages to possible victims across various social media apps, hoping that one gets to fall for the bait eventually. And they call this bombing. And on the night of March 24th, 2022, while Jordan Demay was packing up for his 2 weeks vacation with his dad, these 3 young men in Lagos were scanning Instagram for their next target. And then they saw Jordan. Perfect profile, perfect photos. The account matched everything on their list they were looking for as a target. And that's when they made their move by sending a simple "hey." However, due to Instagram policy, these messages remains dormant until the receiver approves it with a reply. And Jordan, on the other hand, expecting nothing other than emotional friendship, replied, "Who's you?" And now the DM is open and the game has begun. And over the next few hours, Jordan will go from an excited teenager to a terrified victim, caught in a psychological trap crafted thousands of miles away. Jordan had no idea what he was about to fall into, and once he replied with that simple, "Who's you?" the connection was established, and there was no more restrictions. Her profile showed a cute dog, a normal-looking selfie, and even an emotional follower. Everything was crafted to make Jordan relax, and relax he was. But he was also curious where the chat was leading to, so he continued. The initial conversation between Jordan and Danny Roberts stayed innocent and went on for nearly 2 hours, and it was mostly small talks. Hey, what's up? How you doing? What you doing? Just harmless chats. But behind that screen, it wasn't a girl smiling at her phone. It was 3 young men in Lagos. Their goal was simple: make Jordan trust them, and fast. And from 10:19 p.m., they got to work. They flirted lightly, they exchanged photos. Jordan sent mostly headshots and training photos, and in return they sent selfie photos of the girl. Probably original image from the teenage girl online whose profile they were using. They played the cute stranger from out of town role perfectly. Until after midnight. Then, Danny mentioned she liked playing sexy games, meaning she wanted them to exchange more explicit photos. At first, Jordan laughed it off, but Danny Roberts insisted. And now, Jordan sensed something was off. I mean, you don't get this kind of DM every day. He then asked, "Is this a scam?" And as expected, she denied it. Of course not. And then to convince him even more, she went on to send an explicit image of herself. How they got this, I don't know, but I think it's just a random photo of one of those sites out there. And now, seeing this, Jordan had to reciprocate. At first, he sent photos with his top shirt off. But then they convinced him more that they wanted a full shot with his face in it. And Jordan, not thinking much of it, he went into the bathroom, took off his clothes completely, and snapped a mirror picture. And then he hit send. And right there and then, the friendly Danny Robert disappeared almost immediately. I mean, there was never any Danny Roberts. It was the Ogoshi Brothers, Samson and Samuel, and their friend Robert all along, hiding in the shadows of the innocent teenage girl. And instantly, everything turned darker the moment Jordan sent the photo, and the 3 men sprang into action. Jordan had taken the bait, and now he had to pay for his freedom. Samuel continued with the shots, but this time not as Danny Roberts, but as the cruel scammers they were. Meanwhile, Samson, on the other hand, while the shots were going on the whole time, he had already dug through Jordan's social media. He was gathering contact, friends, family, classmates, teachers, as many contacts as he could gather. He then created a collage with Jordan's explicit photo, surrounded by Jordan's friends and families he found online. And this was their trap, and now the pressure had begun. Samuel told him exactly what was going to happen, word for word. "I have screenshotted all your followers and tags, and I can send this news to everyone and also send your news to your family and friends until it goes viral. All you have to do is cooperate with me and I won't expose you." Jordan didn't respond immediately. He was still trying to process everything. Then more messages came in. "Are you going to cooperate with me? Just pay me right now and I won't expose you." Eventually, Jordan replied, "How much?" And Danny Roberts said, $1,000. Jordan's heart dropped. That was a lot of money for a 17-year-old. At the time of 2022, $1,000 was around 450,000 naira in Nigeria. But today, the price is triple. That's around 1.4 to 1.5 million. Jordan tried to explain that he didn't have that kind of money and only had $355 in total, which he had saved from his McDonald's job for the family vacation the next day. And he said he could only offer $55. Then the scammer sent him a photo of his mom to show that they were not playing. How do you think she'll feel when she sees your nudes everywhere? And now Jordan realized they weren't bluffing. And this time he offered to pay $300 and they accepted. And now this is where Roberts comes in. He simulated the payment process. He had a plug there in the US who provided a PayPal account for Jordan to send in the money. And then after taking his cut, he'll then purchase Bitcoin with what's left and then send it to the boys in Nigeria who would then go to exchange the Bitcoin with another plug in Nigeria before getting the money in Naira. These boys were deep in this game. They knew exactly how to break their victims. And just when Jordan thought they were done, they weren't satisfied. They wanted to squeeze him dry. They demanded $800 more. Jordan begged for his life. He showed them a screenshot of his remaining balance of $55, but the scammers were ruthless, and they said no deal. Knowing they had Jordan cornered, they taunted him, and Danny Roberts continued. I love this. Then they started counting down. 10, 9, 8. Jordan replied, why are you doing this to me? And Roberts replied, because it's going to be your worst nightmare. I got all I need right now to make your life miserable, dude. Jordan kept begging while the threat got worse. They sent messages and voice notes. Remember, this was around 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. So everyone was fast asleep, and Jordan was alone, fighting 3 strangers from Nigeria. You could feel the fear in his words, and the shots continued. I bet your girlfriend will leave you for another dude. Just waiting for your girlfriend to get the text. You know what will happen. Probably the countdown was off, and Danny Robert had sent the collage to his girlfriend. And that was the breaking point. This was a cold calculated script used for all their victims, but using Jordan's mom and girlfriend as leverage, that shattered him. And out of desperation, Jordan wrote, I will be dead, like I want to kill myself. He told them he had no more money, but the scammers didn't care. They thought more pressure would make him magically find cash, and he panicked. His mom, his school, his girlfriend, his friends, his name, everything. He felt he had too much to lose. Scammers only care about leverage and not life. And Danny Roberts continued, okay then, I'll watch you die, you miserable that. Jordan said, it's over, you win bro. And Danny said, goodbye, enjoy your miserable life. Jordan told him again, I'm killing myself right now because of you. And Danny Roberts said, good, do that fast or I'll make you do it. I swear to God. And that was the last message on the shots. And Jordan then went to get his father's pistol. Yes, his father was a retired cop, so he legally owned the pistol. Then he picked up his phone one last time and he texted his girlfriend, Kyla, I love you so much. I made a mistake and I wish I could continue, but I can't do this anymore. This was a choice I made and I must pay myself. He texted his mom, Mom, I love you. And the report says that it was around this time Jordan ended his life. And one would think this was enough reason for the scammers to stop. But even in that, the scammers continued. And in chapter 4, the unthinkable happened. The threat became more than what Jordan could handle. At first, he stayed calm, even bold enough, going straight to the point when he asked, how much? But after everything, the Nigerian scammers didn't keep to their end of the deal. They still sent the explicit photo to his girlfriend, Kyla, who was still fast asleep at the time. Now, before Jordan took the shots, after sending his last message to Kyla and his mom, he deleted the entire shots with Danny Roberts and the photos too from his gallery. Then it happened. Jordan's father said he heard the sound of the gunshot, a single sharp bang. He was actually coming out from the restroom, and being a retired police officer, he recognized immediately that it sounded like a gunshot. But he didn't think much of it. He assumed Jordan probably knocked off something over while packing for the vacation, or maybe it was just his late night gaming sound effects. So he went back to bed. He later estimated that the time was around 3:45 a.m., which means that was roughly 5 to 6 hours after Jordan's first encounter with the scammers around 10:19 p.m. So within those few hours, the scammers were able to gain Jordan's trust and got his nudes, blackmailed him, got his money, threatened him, and then encouraged him to take his, in quotes, miserable life, all in under 5 hours. Wow. Parents, please, if you're watching this, please pay attention and share this video with your kids. It could happen to anyone. Morning came and Jordan's mom woke up to the message, Mother, I love you. She replied immediately, I love you too. Hope you got a good night's sleep. But there was no response. 5 minutes passed, 10, 15, still nothing. Now, call it a mother's intuition, but she instantly felt that something was wrong. Jordan and his mom were extremely close. They talked every day. video call, basketball shots, school stories, relationship advice. She attended all his games and she knew all his friends. He even shared his music taste because Jordan introduced her to Drake, Post Malone, and Fetty Wap music, which she loved. Their bond was inseparable. They even video called the previous night while he was shopping for the trip with Kyla. So waking up to an "I love you" text message was completely normal, but not with a delayed reply from Jordan. So she texted again, "Are you okay?" No reply. Jordan, still no response. And now she's starting to panic. Immediately, she texted Kyla asking if Jordan was with her or already in school. And Kyla replied that he wasn't, and he wasn't picking her calls either. Still trying to stay calm, Buta texted Jordan's dad, asking if he was still at home. Now, Jonathan Demay also found this strange because Jordan was always the first person to leave for school, so still being at home by 7:30 a.m. was unheard of. Then he looked through his window and saw that Jordan's truck was still parked outside, meaning he was still in the house. So he rushed downstairs to Jordan's room, turned on the lights, and what he saw was unbelievably believable. Impossible to believe, but yet undeniably true. He saw his son, Jordan, lay lifeless on the bed, the gun still in his right hand, his phone beside him, and blood splattered on the wall. The smell was overwhelming. Jonathan struggled out of the room, his chest tightened. His wife even thought he was having a heart attack, and all he could whisper was, "He shot himself, he shot himself." He immediately called Buta. This was about 9 minutes after she had texted him, so she had been glued to her phone waiting for an update, but not the kind she was expecting. She expected that maybe Jordan had a flat tire or he overslept or anything else. Jonathan told her the words no mother should hear. "He's gone, he shot himself," and everything collapsed. Buta screamed. How? Why? What happened? Meanwhile, Kyla, still in school, unaware of what had happened, kept staring at Jordan's last message. By this time, she had called a dozen times and also texted too, but no reply from Jordan. Then the call she received from Miss Buta again, Jordan's mom, which made her even more confused and worried. What mistake could he be talking about? They went shopping the last night together and was supposed to see today before his trip. So what mistake could he be speaking of? Kyla wondered. Her anxiety grew until a school administrator came into her class and asked her to step outside. Kyla said she instantly knew something was wrong the moment she saw her parents standing in the office. Jordan is dead. He shot himself. And Kyla collapsed, crying uncontrollably. Her parents too were in tears. They had to take her home immediately. And a moment later, the news spread around town. Shock, confusions, and questions, just like Jordan's parents, and everyone asked the same thing. Why? It's still the same Friday. The 911 call had already been made. The police arrived and did what they normally do at a crime scene. Secured the area with caution tape, took photos and collected evidence. But based on what they saw, it appeared that Jordan had taken his life, meaning this wasn't a crime but a suspected suicide. Yet something wasn't adding up. There was no suicide note, no signs of emotional struggle, nothing in his past that suggested he would want to harm himself. And his bags were packed up for his vacation trip. His alarm was still ringing for school the next morning, meaning he had intentions of going to school that day. And the CCTV outside showed no one entering or leaving the house. So technically, it wasn't a murder, but it didn't fit as a suicide either. The case felt like a dead end from the very beginning, a puzzle with no edges. The two detectives assigned were stunned. They had never seen anything like it. For one of the detectives, it was a personal case because he was Jonathan's close friend, Jordan's father. They collected everything they could: Jordan's phone, the gun, bullets, shoes, and anything else that might help in their investigation. Meanwhile, Jordan's mother, already devastated, was breaking down repeatedly. Jembuta was shattered, and so was everyone close to Jordan. Now back to Kyla. Kyla, still in shock, asked a friend to drive her to the park where she and Jordan always visited. She sat there staring at Jordan's last message, looking at it over and over again. What mistake did he make? Meanwhile, news had already spread across the school. But because she was Jordan's girlfriend, her DM exploded with condolence, confusion, rumor, even false accusations. All of this while she was still unaware of the message Danny Robert had sent earlier that morning at around 3:30 a.m., just before Jordan's message. Back at the station, the detectives were convinced the answers they needed were inside Jordan's phone. They took it to the computer crimes unit in Marquette. Digital forensic analysts unlocked Jordan's phone and printed out the usage history of the device. Messages, calls, apps, everything Jordan did before his death. But remember, Jordan had deleted the entire chats with Danny Roberts, alongside with the explicit photos. So everything was recorded except the very thing everyone desperately needed. Oh, Jordan. And now over to Kyla, still staring at Jordan's message like it was a clue to a treasure map. Kyla finally noticed the unknown account that had messaged her. Around the same time, Jordan sent his final text. When she opened it, she saw the collage the scammers had made to blackmail Jordan. And immediately everything clicked. This was the mistake Jordan was talking about, she thought to herself. And she replied, "What is this about?" And Danny said, "Do you know him?" Kyla replied, "Do you?" And Danny replied, "Answer me." And Kyla said, "Who are you?" And Danny wasn't ready for any introduction game. Danny went on to say, "I bet you know him." And Kyla too admitted, "Yes, that's my boyfriend. Why?" And Danny continued, "I swear I will ruin his life with this." Kyla replied, "He killed himself last night. Please don't." But the scammers didn't care. They didn't even acknowledge what she said. They only saw opportunity, since Kyla had begged, so they assumed they had caught another victim. And Danny continued, "Do you want me to ruin his life?" And Kyla said, "He's gone. No." And Danny repeated again, "Do you want me to ruin his life? Yes or no?" This guy is his head blocked or something? And Kyla replied, "He's already ruined. What do you mean?" Then the scammer switched tactics straight to threats. "He's going to be in jail and this will go viral." And Kyla said, "He's dead. He shot himself." But the scammers didn't stop. "Do you want me to end this and delete this pic? Yes or no? Cooperate with me and this will end. Just do as I say and all this will end." Kyla, already heartbroken, grieving and overwhelmed, stopped responding. And that is exactly what any victim of sextortion should do. If you ever find yourself in this situation, do not panic. Just stop replying to them and block them. And tell a parent or a trusted adult immediately. Trust me, your nude won't go viral. They'll just share it with your loved ones or something. Because once you keep responding, they'll never stop. They'll keep on pressuring you until you break down. And even if you pay, they'll return for more until you feel trapped, and for some victims, that trap becomes fatal. And now, back to the story. The moment Kyla stopped responding to the scammers became desperate. They spammed her with video calls, voice notes, and more threats. And she asked her friend to drive her back home immediately. Once home, she told her parents everything. And her parents contacted Jordan's parents, and Jordan's parents in turn contacted the detective. And just like that, the detective who had been searching for a miracle in cracking the case and finally had their breakthrough. And in the next episode, we'll find out how they investigated and tracked down the scammers. By 10 p.m. that Friday night, there wasn't much Detective Lowell Larson could do except contact Kyla. And she told him everything she had experienced, sent screenshots of her chat, and confirmed that she believed Jordan had taken his own life because of the blackmail. And the next day, being Saturday, was supposed to be a day off for the detective, but they came in anyway, especially now that they finally had a lead. There was no time to waste. The team immediately pulled up their earlier reports and data they had printed out and searched again for Danny Roberts. But this time, the entire chat box was empty. Remember, Jordan had deleted the message before taking his life. And that was the moment the real investigation began. Meanwhile, in Nigeria, Danny Roberts, aka Nigerian scammers, aka Ogoshi Brothers, and Ezekiel Roberts. By this time, they still haven't received any reply from Kyla. No update from Jordan's account either. So at this point, they started to fear the worst. Maybe Kyla wasn't bluffing after all. Maybe Jordan had really taken his life. So they began searching the internet. They searched for Instagram blackmail vets and they found nothing. They searched for Jordan's death and they still found nothing. The reason was simple, because Jordan had died only a day earlier and the investigation had not been yet connected to Instagram or blackmail, and the local authorities hadn't released public details. So their searches wasn't pulling up what they wanted. But when they searched by location, Michigan in Marquette, they finally found a small town news article about a teenage boy named Jordan who had committed suicide that Friday. Immediately they knew this was their victim, Jordan. And now panicking, they started googling things like how to hide my IP address from the FBI and how to avoid police tracking. But it was too late. The damage was already done. And when Larson confirmed the chat between Danny and Jordan was deleted, he knew exactly what had to be done, which was to contact Meta, the parent company and the owner of Instagram, Facebook, and WhatsApp. You see, Meta has a special compliance protocol for cases involving risks to life or serious crimes. Authorities can legally request account data or preserve an account, but normally need a court order unless someone's life is in immediate danger. Meaning, the US police can get access to anybody's account if it involves an investigation or the risk of life or whatsoever. But only with a court order, except it involves immediate danger, then they can just get it. Then Larson wrote to Meta immediately, stressing that a teenager has already died and more teenagers may be in danger, that this is urgent. But Meta refused, asking for a court order. So Larson went straight to the court that same day. Because of the urgency, the request was approved almost immediately, and he sent it back to Meta. And within hours, Meta delivered the full data and archive of the Danny Roberts account, and it wasn't a small file. It was over 700 pages of raw information, everything about the account, the creation dates, login history, linked devices, other account access from the same device, IP addresses, connection logs, messages, deleted activities, everything about the account. They also discovered something horrifying. Jordan was not their only victim. He was one out of more than 120 victims. And from the chats, some were still being blackmailed, while some had already been drained financially and dumped. And the same day Jordan died, 2 more minors were actively being threatened with their nudes. The same time Jordan was being threatened. Larson also noticed that the scammers' messages were almost identical, a scripted format repeated in over 46 different chats. Meta also revealed several other accounts logged into the same device, and those were hacked accounts the scammers had bought and used them for scamming or like they call it, bombing. So using Meta's data, the computer forensic team traced the IP address and location of the scammers. And when the screen loaded, everyone froze. Behold, the giants of Africa, country Nigeria, the city Lagos. Meanwhile, the news of Jordan's death had not yet gone public. Only a single town blog had written about it. So the detective thought that the scammers must have looked up the news of Jordan's death online. And now, using their system at the Marquette Computer Crime Unit, the detective traced every IP address that viewed that article. And there were 4 unique IP addresses from Lagos, Nigeria. And one of them matched the IP address Meta had sent alongside Danny Roberts' data. Exactly. So to explain simply, an IP address is the digital fingerprint of a device, like a phone national ID, and you can track a device location with it. So now the suspect location was confirmed that it was Lagos, Nigeria, but they still don't know their faces. And that's when Detective Larson reached out to a friend in the FBI. And once they reviewed the evidence and everything Detective Larson had gathered, the case escalated from a local investigation to a federal one immediately. And now the FBI is now in charge. Their first step was using the scammer's IP address to request access from Apple and Google. And both companies complied. And inside their iCloud and Gmail accounts, the FBI found the scam script they used, more pictures of the girl they used to pose as Danny Roberts, other connected Instagram account and Facebook accounts, proof of their ongoing sextortion schemes. Basically, they had enough evidence to build a rock-solid case, but they kept scrolling in the dark. And the Ogoshi Brothers had no idea the FBI was already watching them. Just like they did to Sapphire Egemasi, the teenage girl who scammed US of $1.3 million and toured 30 countries in 1 year. You can watch the story here though. The link will be in the description. 6 months later from the time Jordan had died, it's now November 2022. The FBI had built a full case. They gathered overwhelming digital evidence. Then the court finally issued the indictment of Samuel Ogoshi, Samson Ogoshi, and Ezekiel Ejehem Roberts. They were charged with the following counts: sexual exploitation and sexual exploitation of minors, resulting in death, conspiracy to sexually exploit minors, and conspiracy to stalking through the internet. Now, all this, and the boys were living their lives in Nigeria, unaware they had been indicted in the US. And now their 6 months of investigation had led to one final step. And in episode 7, the FBI crosses borders and pays a visit to Nigeria. And now the takedown begins.
FBI, open up!
Chapter 7. By this time, the boys were still going on with their lifestyle, scamming, or as they call it, bombing. Unknown to them, they have been on the FBI radar for months. And by December, the indictment and the court approvals were already in place. However, due to the festive season, the FBI decided to wait until the holiday passed before making their move. In early February, they arrived in Nigeria in search of the suspects. And by then, reported scam cases linked to Nigeria had risen over 276% in just 2 years, largely following the 2020 lockdown that reshaped the global economy. The FBI partnered with the EFCC, the Nigerian Ministry of Justice, the US Department of International Justice Affairs, and the Nigerian security agencies to carry out this operation. And the Ogoshi Brothers were arrested in February 2023 in Ojo, Lagos State, while Ezekiel Ejehem Roberts was arrested separately in Nasarawa State, another state in Nigeria. The brothers were detained while the EFCC finalized the extradition proceedings of the Federal High Court in Abuja. And by May, all the paperwork, legal approval, and travel documents had been completed. And in June, the president of the International Association of Women Judges approved the extradition request. And by August, the Solicitor General of the Nigerian Federation signed the final authorization, granting the United States full authority to prosecute the offenders. And on August 13, 2023, the Ogoshi brothers were transported to the United States of America, not for a visit, but to answer for their crimes. And the very next day, Monday, August 14, they appeared in court in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And what followed were months of legal proceedings. And by 2024, the case has stretched nearly 3 years, consuming time, resources, and emotional energy. Meanwhile, Jordan's family and supporters continue to demand justice across Michigan, holding placards that read, "Justice for Jordy." And in April 2024, the brothers entered a plea deal. They pleaded guilty to count 2 of the charge, which was conspiracy to exploit minors, claiming they were under the influence of alcohol at the time. Now pause for a second. Under the influence of alcohol, scamming for over 3 years, with more than 120 victims. Back to the story. And on September 4th, 2024, the brothers were sentenced to 17.5 years in prison, instead of the possible 30 to 40 years. But due to the plea deal, their sentence was shortened. Their sentence officially begins in 2025, meaning they are expected to be released around 2042, after which they will be deported back to Nigeria. And as for Ezekiel Ejehem Roberts, he was arrested in Nasarawa State, but he contested his extradition. His legal appeal caused delay, and as of the time of this documentary, he has not been yet extradited to the US. The Ogoshi brothers were not the only ones charged. Several US-based individuals who helped receive and transfer Jordan's money were also arrested. They were charged with money laundering and sentenced to 3 years in prison, along with fines ranging from $40,000 to $50,000 each. Oh my God. And that's roughly 50 to 70 million naira per person in Nigerian naira. And after paying $40,000 to $50,000, you will not joke with crime again. "17.5 years in prison may sound like justice. And yes, others connected to the scam were also charged in one way or another. But none of this brought Jordan back. That was the reality his parents were left to face. Like many parents who refuse to let tragedy end in silence, Jembuta's life took a different turn.
I can't save him, but maybe we can save some other kids by sharing his story.
She began creating awareness videos, granting interviews, and speaking openly about sextortion scams. And soon, other parents who had lost their children to similar crime started speaking out too. Their anger had a common target, which was social media platform. Victims' family blamed these platforms for failing to protect their teenagers, and their voices grew too loud to ignore. The US government eventually stepped in, and Meta, which owns Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram, came under heavy scrutiny. Meta faced multiple lawsuits and government investigation over claim that its platform failed to protect minors.
Instagram also displayed the following warning screen to individuals who were searching for child abuse material. These results may contain images of child sexual abuse. And then you gave users two choices: get resources or see results anyway. Mr. Zuckerberg, what the hell were you thinking?
Plaintiffs argued that the apps were knowingly designed to be addictive, worsening teen mental health, depression, and exposure to self-harm. Meta was also accused of not securing its platform adequately, allowing predators and scammers easy access to minors. Lawmakers say these design failures turned social media into a gateway for exploitation, including sextortion cases. And during one emotional congressional hearing, parents filled the room holding photos of their children. And Jordan's father was present too, and Mark Zuckerberg was forced to publicly apologize to the families.
Now to apologize to the victims who have been harmed by your product. Show them the pictures. Would you like to apologize for what you've done to these good people?
And this is why we invested so much and are going to continue doing industry-leading efforts to make sure that no one has to go through the types of things that your families have had to suffer.
Around the same period, TikTok also came under US government scrutiny. TikTok CEO Chao Chu testified before the US Congress. Lawmakers accused TikTok of failing to protect minors from harmful content and predatory behavior, while also raising data privacy concern and allegation of foreign influence, claiming the app acts as a spy to American citizens.
Of what nation are you a citizen?
Singapore.
Are you a citizen of any other nation?
No, Senator.
Have you ever applied for Chinese citizenship?
No, I did not.
Do you have any other passports from any other nations?
No, Senator.
Have you ever been a member of the Chinese Communist Party?
Senator, I'm Singaporean. No.
Have you ever been associated or affiliated with the Chinese Communist Party?
No, Senator. Again,
Okay.
I'm Singaporean.
Do you agree with Joe Biden? Is Xi Jinping a dictator?
Senator, I'm not going to comment on any world leaders.
What? Are you scared that you'll lose your job if you say anything negative about the Chinese Communist Party?
While Meta cases focus heavily on teens' mental health and suicide, TikTok scrutiny expanded into data security. Together, both cases revealed how social media platforms had outpaced their own safety systems. And in response, these platforms were forced to act. And Meta took drastic measures which led to a massive crackdown. With over 63,000 Instagram accounts removed, more than 6,000 Facebook groups taken down, and over 1,300 Facebook pages and suspected accounts deleted, and over 8 million accounts worldwide were disabled. Meta also strengthened the verification systems, including stricter identity checks, which include age restrictions and improved reporting tools. And on Instagram, a new warning system were introduced, especially involving accounts linked to Nigeria. In some cases, if foreign users attempt to message a Nigerian account, the person receives warnings such as, "This person may be a scammer. Do not share personal information, photos, or money." Kai. While these measures helped to reduce scams, they also frustrated many legitimate Nigerian business owners who felt unfairly labeled and lost foreign clients as a result. But according to Meta, the decision was necessary.
Because you murdered half the planet.
A small price to pay for salvation.
Other platforms follow suit. Snapchat reinforced its already strict policy on screenshots and image sharing, tightening controls around private content. Back at Michigan High School, Jordan died just 2 months before his graduation and his 18th birthday. And during the award ceremony, his mother stood in his place. The school later created a large painting of Jordan's name at the entrance, a permanent tribute in his memory. In the month that followed, Jordan's mother founded I Got You, a foundation created in his honor. And through it, she sponsors underprivileged children across Michigan, helping them stay in school. And today, more than 100 students are being supported. And in the end, Jordan's death was not just a loss, it became a legacy, one that continues to protect and uplift lives he never got the chance to meet. And that brings us to where the case stands today. Jordan Demay's death exposed a global digital threat, one that forced tech giants, lawmakers, and parents to confront the uncomfortable truths. So we ask you, was 17 years enough for the Ogoshi brothers? And also, have you ever encountered sextortion scam or any scam basically? Just let us know in the comment section. Special thanks to Jen Buta, Kyla Palomaki, Jonathan Demay, Detective Laura Larson, and everyone who helped bring awareness, accountability, and justice to Jordan's case. And please, this documentary took significant time and resources to produce. Like and share this video with your friends and loved ones to help spread awareness. And also, you can explore our channel for other crime documentary videos. And don't forget to subscribe. See you next time on Dark Truth Africa.